Well, here we go. One more match on moving day that, of course, the Knights came in with high expectations. Maybe they would have a shot at playing their way into the major, and those hopes have been dashed. So now, Stumpy, they've got to play for whatever they can get for the future here. There's still a pretty good payoff at the end of this weekend.
And they have done a phenomenal job after turning around their results back in the second regional that we saw. They didn't even make that one, and then they just missed out in the first regional over in this season in fall in North America, going 9th to 11th. So this is the best they have done by a fair margin. It's incredibly impressive, already beaten their amount of points, and if they can get the win versus a ridiculously good Space Station Gaming, a team that went 3-0 yesterday, yeah, this would be a big old upset.
We've seen over in Europe a player like Cash making his moment, finally, after quite a long time on the grind. Sosa is waiting for a similar moment and a chance to make it for himself here. He's been with the Knights since October of 2020. This is by far his best shot at a big-time payday. And again, a chance to play himself into a good position for winter and spring to come, with the Invitationals being total RLCS points. So still a lot to play for here for the Knights, as ZPS tries to circle around on one, but Arsenal beat him to it. And Daniel right there for Arsenal, trying to get around the boards. It got out cleanly, and Arsenal scores.
Just comes down to a passing play. PK unable to deal with that. Daniel taps it down so wonderfully towards Arsenal, and then Sosa with the miss. Yeah, Arsenal's there. He's quick enough. He can poach it right as it falls back down to and going to that right-hand side. And Stacks, you're mentioning it's a payday. Any team that comes out of this 5th to 8th spot, they more than double their money. They gain $4,500 as well as those points. It's what's so impressive about these regional events now, you know, that the third one being an invitational and it's going to be full season points. It rewards how well you do earlier on in the season. So any team that's performing right now in fall, they have already done a brilliant job. And seen a couple of misses coming out from PK, so clearly the nerves are showing themselves. And as I said, when you come up against the best team coming out of the Swiss, it's going to do that to you. But they just need to hold firm, do what they know that they can do, and hopefully get that upset.
Yeah, seeding at stake as well here for Space Station Gaming. It's not like they have nothing to play for sure. They also want that money. They want those points and want to make a statement, with FaZe waiting on the other side on Championship Sunday, as Cheese will send that right back out towards Daniel. LJ is lurking. He's got to retreat here and cycle around on one beyond the midfield line. Over to Arsenal now. He's got nobody else with him. May not need anybody. He almost forced it through on his own. He still keeps it available. Here comes Daniel, and Cheese cut it out.
Arsenal, the great disruptor, going the entire length of the pitch, nearly getting an incredible goal to get the second one of this game. That would have been his second as well. Space Station, they are feeling it. We saw just how well they play when they're feeling it, especially on those Friday streams. It was a nice quick one for them. Didn't lose many games whatsoever. It was relatively quick. It was their hardest match was versus FaZe, who, again, as I said, Stacks are going to be facing off if they can win out this series too. And when it comes down to looking at what PK are doing, I think they have to try and look at the Axel series to see how they went 4-2 versus FaZe. They took FaZe by surprise. Axel were incredible against them by just being able to come out and, as Jorby phrased it, punch them in the face. Do what you can. Be different and strange and do anything. And getting those bumps and that positioning is going to open it up for Cheese.
Yeah, sometimes you throw the ball at the net and hope something good happens. It did there as Daniel backflip. He misplayed it. Sosa slams him into the net. Cheese sends the ball in behind him. Minute 52 to go. And life now for the Knights as they tie it up.
A minute 52 in this first game could be huge for PK. On that left wall, Cheese sends it high. Sosa challenging with Arsenal, and a shot coming in for ZPS, with the bumps coming in as well. That aggression, we've seen how well it can do for other teams in North America. Why not PK, especially when they're going to be the underdogs in this matchup? Daniel has to retreat as Sosa sends it long, but LJ waiting, that new addition to the roster. Crazy to me, it feels like to say he's a new addition as opposed to Daniel. I still feel like Daniel's the youngest person in the world playing Rocket League. It's lovely to see that, you know, they're still evolving and doing a lot. And as Arsenal, the absolute boomer on that team, is going to have to try and keep those young guns in check, because a new team of young guns is very much in town.
She's getting his second goal in this game, 15th of the tournament, after demos all around. ZPS leading the way, and Knights up very late now in game one. Of course, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And we've seen, I mean, we saw it with Axel against FaZe. Yes, maybe you can surprise him for a game, but you can't put a whole series together when Daniel is a living highlight reel. This is insane.
Daniel, shut up. Just that rotation, background, under the ball, then using his reset from the ceiling, the delayed dodge. Jeez, how do you defend against that if you're PK? Because you've just got that brilliant demo goal, you open up, you reduce their numbers, and then Daniel goes for the 1v3. Sosa wants the 1v2. This isn't quite able to as we enter the final minute in this first game. LJ sending it long, but ZPS in the perfect place to save it.
You can see Arsenal downfield hunting as well. Daniel, too quick, cut the shot off. Bar down and then in off of Sosa, and SSG turn the hourglass over.
That's the thing as well. Daniel just straight away takes that shot. Previously, maybe he goes to the air dribble, goes to air dribble bump, double tap. Sometimes just shooting it and trying to put that pressure on is what you need to do. Shuts down that push from PK, getting the lead after, what, 10 seconds after the goal just came in from Daniel. Brilliant play from them, good pushing. And now PK, they need to get something because LJ, he's going to try and push himself.
There are some that kind of tried to detract from the hype of Daniel last season. They tried to criticize his defense, and it was on display here when he gave up that goal a moment ago, but he's more than made up for it with his offense. And a big-time stop from SSG. LJ has Daniel downfield. His shot sent away by ZPS, and it gives Knights a chance here with the final few seconds ticking away in regulation. A chance to try and force overtime, but they got to get out of their own zone. ZPS, bouncer towards Sosa. LJ intercepts. Daniel the demolition at midfield, and that should just about kill off the Knights as Spacestation comes back and takes game one.
Daniel being the force to be reckoned with very much in that game, but on the other side, Cheese looked brilliant defensively. He made a couple of vital saves, clearing a couple away as well. 2 nice passes to his teammates, gets that distance with them as opposed to him just booming them and then being really predictable. So Knights have got a lot to work with there. Seeing as they only lost by 1 as well, that's a brilliant start for them. Confidence inspiring, some would say, I reckon.
And LJ, those 4 saves, and a couple of them were highlight reel stuff as SSG holds off the Knights. And this is kind of what you expect, though, out of these top 8 series where on paper it looks like a clear mismatch, right? It's on one side, you've got Space Station Gaming. Hey, welcome back, Stumpy. It's like Cole had taken you away for a moment. But on one side, you've got Space Station Gaming, the mighty juggernaut, and on the other, you've got the Knights that certainly are not expected to get past them. We heard Raul say it during the interview. He gave him no shot, just like Gibbs gave Axel no shot. But these series, early on, Knights come in with a lot of energy and a lot of hope that they can maybe spring that upset. You wonder if maybe that starts to fade after SSG wins a game the way they just did.
I don't think it can logically. I think sure it can emotionally, but logically you have to say, look, we lost by 1, lads. We had the lead as well. We're doing well. And ZPS, I'm not sure that was your plan, but I think the end result was absolutely what you were after. Cheese with the pass. And then it bounces off the side and then in ever so slowly. We saw a 6-mile-per-hour goal in the previous series. That one beating it by just 3. First 10 seconds, PK lead.
This is a team that does not lack for scoring as Arsenal's shot is blocked away by Sosa. ZPS will finish off the defensive effort and then has Cheese on the side. Well, Sosa going after Arsenal. He'll settle for the boost. That's something that could be a real concern for both of these teams. They tend to steal a lot of boosts. ZPS just stole some on the other side, so SSG could be in trouble. Sosa to Cheese, and it's high. ZPS to follow, nothing behind it. Arsenal's got it.
These passes from PK, they are lightning fast. They're going as often as they can. ZPS is there all of a sudden as well. Gets the pass out central. That one a little bit too lightning fast, as it then just goes back down to SSG. But I love the ideas. I love the ambition that PK are attacking with.
Sosa going to get beaten by LJ. Cheese has to be there on the backboard, and he is. And now Daniel happens to always have 200 boost in the tank. It's uncanny. LJ now with Daniel running interference on Sosa. Arsenal keeps it alive. Here comes Daniel from the wing, and he'll score. Absolute pinpoint placement.
A death from above, from the blind side, pre-flipping, tip of the nose on the Fennec. You cannot ask for a greater shot. Daniel, again, delivering a dagger, and PK on Aquadome, they looked great for that first minute, but we're still seeing those gears continue to speed up. This engine is beginning to roar for SSG.
Daniel will pick teams apart if they let him get started. You've got to just go out and challenge him. Even if you've got nothing in the tank, give him something to think about. Because there might not be a more accurate shooter in North America. Here goes Daniel again for Arsenal. This time Cheese got in the way. And Daniel tried to set up LJ, but ZPS a little faster. 2-on-2 advantage, or 2-on-1 rather. And quickly back the other way and in off of LJ. And getting a little help from the defense.
I'm not even going to get a chance to criticize PK there when they definitely should have scored. LJ instead tips it right back behind Cheese. And you know what? I do have time before this replay ends. How did you not score that, PK? Sosa, you had the chance. Just hit it low and hard. No one was there to defend. Cheese got out your way. Sorry, ZPS got out your way as well. And yet, you weren't able to. And Arsenal punishing the indecisiveness from PK defensively. You said that Daniel's able to pick these teams apart when they start to let them. But this sweater, the thread is becoming loose, and they are tugging on that string.
3 goals from Daniel, now 2 from Arsenal. LJ's got one. That had maybe been the biggest weakness for Space Station. They added LJ, and it was, by all accounts, absolutely the right choice to pick LJ up. He was the guy that everybody wanted in North America. SSG got him, and it's just been a matter of getting him to fit in with this squad. He hadn't been involved in the offense as much in the previous couple events. Of course, when you've got Daniel doing this. Look, our entire top 5 from this event could just be Daniel.
What? The instant flip reset? Daniel, excuse me? That's if I'm a teacher, that's an instant detention. I'm sorry, that's just rude, that's mean. That's going on a permanent record, Daniel. You dog.
It just doesn't seem like a fair fight when you've got that kind of a weapon on your side. LJ actually got a shot off here, and Cheese had to corral. Daniel got caught up forward a little too much. Can Cheese center? No. And it's Daniel coming away yet again. Again, nobody going up after him, letting him get the flip reset, and he almost set up LJ for one.
If there's someone that you're burning 100 boosts just to tackle in the air once, it's Daniel. Please just go for Daniel. Sosa? Long shot. I thought that was going to bounce up and high above the crossbar, but instead, the incredible clear. It just glances the ceiling, gives it that amount just to pop down with. No one back in time. Only cut down to a 2-goal lead now, but an overextension for SSG, a potential wake-up call that, all right, fair play. PK are still very good. We can't just keep attacking with all 3 of us.
At times, you start to feel like maybe SSG is coming into their own right at the tail end of the split. Maybe going into the major. Here's Daniel again. Hand down, man down.
Hand down, man down. Dan up for his 3rd goal. That's a hat trick, and all of them are going to be in the top 10. I'm certain. He's monstrous. He is everything for SSG right now. Got 700 points, the hat trick. He is unbeatable in this form. Unless you're his teammate. Okay,
yeah, right, unless Arsenal gets in the way. He doesn't just score normal, boring, vanilla goals, does he? It's just always edge of your seat stuff.
Why should he?
Trying to clear the way and
miracles. You're not just going to keep, drinking water. You're going to change whatever you can.
Well, he has changed this series, and he has transformed Space Station Gaming since he joined them during last season. Here goes Cheese trying to climb the ladder, and Arsenal's right there in a 3-goal game that feels like it's about a 6-goal lead right now, with Daniel waiting for Arsenal to play this and get out of his way so he can just go back to doing what he does best, score more. All the way across this goes, and Arsenal couldn't get to it, so ZPS can. He's got Cheese downfield, hit him with a pass, but Cheese couldn't get the shot away.
And so far, we're seeing SSG dominate this game, and we're seeing just how incredible they can be when they are linking up. But they're yet to actually, LJ, all right, pal, you know what? Maybe you've got a spot in the top 10 as well. They are yet to make it through that 3rd to 4th spot. They've done that twice. They've got to the semis twice. This is, as far as they're concerned, I'm sure, this is their practice. See what then they can push forward against FaZe later on when we see them tomorrow, because it's going to be hard. It's going to be the hardest team that they could realistically face off against. And yet, this is their warm-up in the competitive environment. I don't see how this team isn't able to work past that 34th spot because they are linking up in every way. This start with LJ, it's not been perfect. They have had issues. They have lost games in series that they shouldn't have lost. And yet, they're coming back and they are putting on performances like this against what is still a brilliant PK team. I'm flabbergasted by them. They are inspirationally good today.
This is a team that is very much capable of winning not just a regional event, but the way they look right now, and granted, Knights is not going to be a world-beating team as Sosa tries to weave through traffic. This is a team that looks like they can win a major, at least the way they're playing right now, especially with Daniel on whatever level he's at there. He finally made something of a mistake. LJ kept that out. ZPS will score a consolation goal with only 3 seconds left. And the only thing you can hope for right now for Knights is, okay, we saw one go in. We know Daniel is human now, but that's not much if he's only human in garbage time of a game that's been a blowout.
And the team have got the same amount of goals that Daniel has on his own, and it will remain that way as well. Unfortunate for PK, they weren't able to pick one up right at the end, but Space Station, they did exactly what you said, Stacks. They tore Knights apart. They did what they had to do, and when it came down to the start of that game, it looked good for Knights as well. They had, I believe they got the first goal, but then it's Space Station. Knights are taking a well-deserved timeout here. They need to shut down that momentum, boys.
I'm surprised they didn't call that timeout with about 2 minutes left in game 2, because my gosh, you talk about making a statement. SSG comes from behind in game 1. You think, okay, maybe SSG is still kind of struggling to find their identity, and Knights can take advantage of that and maybe come up and surprise them. Game 2, Daniel, no. No thanks.
No.
None of it. My gosh, 3 goals, 2 assists. He had a couple saves. He's 3 for 4 shooting. Like, that's a cheat code.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. And SSG as a whole through this event have been incredible. They're the first in shots. They're getting over 10 per game typically. So, this is actually around dead on how they've been playing shots-wise. They got 11 in that match. Yeah, that's near enough dead on. They're third in goals. They're getting nearly 3 goals per game. They're at 2.5 right now. That is blistering. That is so hard to actually try and defend against. And Knights, they're allowing in around 2 goals per game on average as well. So if SSG are trying to shoot 10 times in the game and they're scoring about a third of them, and PK, they're letting in 2 goals per game, it becomes so much harder. This play style is working heavily in favor of SSG.
Yeah, Daniel and LJ in particular have just scored in bunches in this event. I mean, they had almost as many goals as both. I think they had more goals than Cheese and ZPS combined. And Cheese and ZPS played 2 more rounds in the Swiss. And as magical a run as it was, going up against NRG and kind of being a pinpoint moment in history in this season, where they knock NRG out of contention for the major. You think, okay, maybe that magic continues on into Saturday. And instead, the buzzsaw that is Daniel continues his reign of terror throughout this entire split. I mean, you could look at someone like Daniel or like a Mist as potential MVP candidates for this split. It's been phenomenal to watch this transformation for Daniel as he is firmly taken over this team. He's certainly taken over this series, and he's got the ball again. Somebody better get to him in a hurry. Cheese did.
It's game number 3 now, and at PK with that timeout are hoping that the timeout gods work in their favor. I believe it's just over half that we're seeing the timeouts do well. When a team takes it, they're going to be on average more likely to win the following game. PK are certainly hoping that's the way. But with Daniel on his warpath, he gets a flip reset, he goes for the musty, quite weak, and so Sosa is able to pick it up at the back. LJ now has to work his way round, and look, I love the positioning from LJ there. He knows Arsenal's coming in, and do you remember earlier on, they had that runaway goal. They don't want to go down to that runaway goal too early, because then PK get confident. They want to keep this nice and controlled, get an early goal for SSG, and then that timeout confidence, that's near enough gone. And by the way, Arsenal getting an immediate musty is ridiculous. They are confidence incarnate.
Daniel coming in trying to score a somewhat normal goal. He is denied. LJ jumps in front of him. And he'll try and set up Daniel here. No, Daniel too far back, so Cheese an emphatic clear. That only goes as far as Arsenal. He can't stay with it. Cheese, after the demo by Sosa, can't get anything forward. Daniel and Arsenal are up. And Daniel will try and chase this down to the corner. Looking for a corner boost steal. That boost still not spawning. It does just as he leaves. Big break for the Knights as they try to break out. But nobody's taking that corner boost. Cheese tried to go up, and LJ beat him to the punch.
LJ, he's still got that back boost too. There's nobody taking the initiative, and that, oh
what a
my
save.
word, it is keeping this pressure on though. That boost steal from LJ is keeping them incredibly low. Sosa, the highest earners, are 40 boost, and the pushing in the midfield is keeping SSG with as much boost as they can, trying to hold them back. But now ZPS with 100, and Sosa picking up the pads is meant that they can push forward a little bit more, but Arsenal going for that 50, taken low by ZPS.
And Knights do tend to spend a lot of time, or try to spend a lot of time, on the opponent's half of the field, starving them out. SSG putting a little priority on boost, and it's working out so far. ZPS quickly back into the zone. Cheese all the way across, had to retreat. He needed boost. And Arsenal will just try and carry this over. Sosa picks his pocket, but LJ right there. Again, it's just the second line of defense, too strong for SSG. As the shot set away by Cheese, he's got a savior medal in the first half of Game 3, a game that mentally feels like they have to win, and is certainly going much better than Game 2 did. Drop down for ZPS, and he's there, threads the needle, and in the second half, ZPS gives Knights the lead.
And Sosa pushing as hard as he did and dropping it off. It means that Daniel isn't able to go for that ball. Arsenal has to just try and get in front of it as best he can. And getting that final touch, ZPS, the opening goal for PK going ahead. That's going to be very confidence-inspiring for them. We said earlier that, they're going to have to try and get one early, and LJ is able to squeak his way back. That shot from ZPS just not quite got enough spice on it.
That's a good recovery off the respawn too by Daniel. Springs Arsenal downfield, and it leads to LJ finishing the job, and immediately we're tied. Great start by Daniel.
That was honestly that was such a ranked pass. Like, Arsenal collects it, goes for a flick in the middle. Of course, we're seeing LJ there, because why would he be? Completely unmarked, gets it past two defenders. That was as clean as you like. That is textbook, just square it, lads.
Now you notice Cheese has gone up against Daniel a couple of times here and making sure not to give him all the time and space in the world. SSG probably needs to go back to starving out Knights and try to break them down defensively so they can't jump up and put a hand in his face so early, as Daniel at his own back line, taken away by Cheese, nobody else over there. And LJ's second touch throws off Sosa, so ZPS has to come up, put on the brakes a little bit. Arsenal did not. Arsenal wins the challenge. It's that elementary.
So from that back corner, has to give a little bit of composure. Instead gives it away to Arsenal. With a little bit of boost, he can go for the air dribble bump. Does manage to get one. Cheese taps it high. It is not nearly enough. Instead, he just tees up LJ to drive it down range.
This team looks so much better offensively, working as a unit than they did in the first two regionals. And oh my goodness, you talk about a team peaking at the right moment, right at the tail end of the fall regional schedule. LJ, little doink, didn't work out.
Attempt. We love that. Pros need to get in the donk zone a bit more often. LJ passing to Arsenal. Oh my gosh, ZPS is back for that. I think LJ might have actually had a better chance of scoring that if he'd went for the shot straight away. I don't think PK's defense was ready for him. Final 60 seconds now, as this win would put SSG on that series point going into the top 4. Daniel trying to go for the psycho. Love the idea. LJ sending it long with Arsenal to receive it in the air. He goes in the corner, and ZPS again with a clear. Do you remember before when he absolutely smashed it and then that went in? Hoping for a little bit of the same to repeat for PK.
Cheese has Sosa in the corner, opts to take it himself, got it out to Sosa, and Arsenal just one little touch to throw him off, and all the way downfield it goes. Cheese tried to outlet to ZPS again. They've got to move fast now with only 20 seconds left. Hard out of the corner, no, nothing there, as he just could not pop that out. Sosa, straight down to Cheese, bounced away. ZPS now with only 10 seconds. Daniel for LJ. Time wasted,
good,
and that one gets cleanly through, and Cheese at least gives them a shot. But Sosa's got to get on his horse. He can't track it down, and Spacestation get 3 out of 4 that they need to go to Championship Sunday.
3 series points, 3 match points. Knights, we said at the start, they are not playing here to get to that major. I think they're 12th currently in North America. They're not doing it. They're out by like 7 places, and there's a lot of incredible teams ahead of them. Instead, Space Station, they're already there. They're playing for that seeding that's going to be oh so important, because the better you do here in your own home, the better chances you have got to come up against a slightly more favorable team for yourselves. Space Station, I don't know what else they can do. In that match, they had 12 shots. They shot a lot worse this time. They had 2 goals out of that. But it's something that PK, they need to deal with, because they are not doing the job they need to do. They aren't. I don't necessarily know what the Spice is missing. I think what we're seeing right now is a better team coming up against a worse team. Everyone on Space Station is just better than Knights. Their positioning is just better. Their shooting is just better. Their placement in the table is just better. And it's those micro adjustments that they can then make that is going to be making sure that they aren't giving up that space to SSG whenever they've got those opportunities. So first 15 seconds without incident, but we saw it took a little bit of time for PK to go ahead in that previous game. Can they do it again? A bump from LJ. It's going to hope that they say no, but the block from Sosa is huge.
5 goals from Daniel, 4 from LJ, and Arsenal leads the lobby in assists with 3. SSG has shot the lights out. Oh, what a save by Daniel, but there is Sosa to follow, and Knights have a lead in a game now they literally must win here in Game 4.
Their positioning, in fairness to PK, has been great. We've seen it twice now. Whenever PK takes that shot, there's immediately someone there to go for the follow-up, especially if it's a bad save, where Daniel, he just had to get that anyway. He had to make the touch, otherwise, obviously, it's in. He just can't get anything too convincing from it. A miss from Cheese in the back line. Sees LJ passing to Daniel. Goes low, back corner, but ZPS parked there to perfection.
Sosa will launch one downfield. I think Knights may be a little fortunate to have not been scored on there with that pass going out to Daniel and everybody just sitting on the goal line like, all right, hope he puts it right on us. That time he did. Cheese, pinch one right back in, right at Arsenal. And he's got all day to play this. Again, Knights letting SSG get a little comfortable as Daniel just ahead of ZPS. Sosa's going to throw another downfield. He's got ZPS down there this time, but Arsenal able to line that up the whole way. That accuracy just not quite there, not quite as lethal on the Knights side as Arsenal twirls through and pesters ZPS on the backboard.
LJ just sends it low again towards Daniel, who then fakes that shot. Just takes his time. It then means that LJ has to slow down, because LJ right here has got, Cheese has got that back line covered. He's got the top of the goal. It then forces Cheese to go a little bit slower, and then Daniel goes for the strike. That is that one's ability. Seeing what the others are doing, making it the worst position for them, making sure they get rid of all their momentum, and then he goes for the death shot. Brilliant play from Dan. Obviously, yet again, the man is near infallible. On the goal line, he saves it away.
Yep.
Dan, how do you know where to be?
At this point, you just kind of pack it up, right? If that doesn't go in, what else? LJ just got a piece of that from Sosa. And now Arsenal throw way downfield. LJ's there. ZPS had to be as well. You just can't take a second off against SSG the way they're playing right now. Daniel got another to go! Are you kidding me?
Daniel is a joke. And PK are the punchline. That is bar down, double flip reset. And it's the second goal on Utopia. SSG. Gods on Earth.
Well, LJ is going to try to send one to the backboard. He's not Daniel, so I don't know why he's trying. But to be fair, LJ is having, I think, by far his best performance of the 3 regionals. And
LJ
again, it's making a massive difference. And he's set up Daniel a couple of times for some beauties.
LJ is like the perfect enabler. He's passing so precisely and in also the right time. He's not just always passing towards Dan. He's not just always giving the ball away. He's getting some great goals himself. Also going for those passes, going for those saves. Cheese is up. Cheese is scoring. Okay, we keep talking about Daniel, we keep talking about SSG, but PK, they are staying in this utopia match.
They are. They're doing just enough to keep their heads above water with just over 2 minutes to go. Deuces on the scoreboard, but a big goose egg on the Knights side in the wins column. You need to change it around here at Utopia, or it's all over for the Knights. SSG would move on to Championship Sunday again. ZPS for Cheese, who might have tried to get in LJ's way there. This did not work out that time for Knights. Daniel couldn't get the ball, but he got Cheese instead. And ZPS is going to try and slow things down. That's a kind of a good jam up there in the corner, not trying to do too much with it.
Dan forgoes the ball and still wants to go for the bump. Cheese missing that touch, and so ZPS has to get a very panic clear away. Arsenal went to go for that wall sideways psycho. I don't know if that's the term for it, but Cheese then sent long, again wanting to punish, but LJ cleverly positioning. He is taking on that third man role, making sure that these counterattacks, those long shots, they are not going to find their way in. They conceded one, and now they are being so careful for it. Daniel up in the air. Bump Cheese, but because he was planted to the wall, Cheese can clear it away. And yet again, look who's back. It's LJ.
Arsenal double kill. The only reason he didn't get Cheese is because he was so far downfield. Might have actually come pretty close to getting Sosa on the respawn, but Knights recover, and they don't let SSG capitalize on the 3v1. Daniel stuffs ZPS. Arsenal out of the corner, leaves it, but nobody there trailing. And Cheese will have to send it back with 45 seconds left. Overtime now looming. It would be our first of this series that has at times been dominated by SSG. Of course, Daniel has been the story so far, but Knights have not been overmatched over these last couple of games. They've hung around and given themselves a chance, but they haven't closed one out. LJ now twirling through. Got a little more air. Took out Cheese, but it's wide. Oh, that would have been the heartbreaking moment of the tournament. Instead, Knights hang around, and they've got a shot at regulation. Cheese dropped down, and LJ will outlet. Arsenal line it up. It's on target, so ZPS has to send it away. Save your medal for him, and we go to overtime.
First one in the series. SSG, they need this one to go through 4-0, the most dominant quarterfinals that we're going to be seeing in the Fall Invitational. The PK are playing for their lives. Sosa picking up the back corner 100. It's Daniel in the air with only 20. He retreats immediately. Knows that boost is so important to how he wants to play. And along with that ball, Arsenal with the clear. Sosa can wait, but give it enough time, and you're seeing two players from SSG pushing in. Arsenal immediately going for bumps, but ZPS staying grounded. And as soon as he goes in the air, he gets bumped out the way. Dog fighting, not going his way this time.
Oh, Cheese put one out to mid, and if Sosa was there, it would have been great, but he wasn't. At least works out. SSG didn't send it back the other way immediately. Cheese, loose ball here. And Daniel with the save coming across. Can they get out of the zone? Yes, they can. It's Arsenal. Down to the corner. Good intercept by Cheese. Got to see some more of that magic from the Knights. They want to start on the path to what would feel unthinkable, especially after game 2. Where Daniel and friends dominated 6-3. They're really 6-2, if not for one kind of irrelevant goal. Here goes Sosa across. He's giving that one away to Daniel. That's probably the worst case scenario.
Great positioning from Cheese there. Can clear it away immediately. And I've seen that a few times. A lot of their plays are going so nicely for PK, where their positioning is what is keeping them in this game. Daniel faking out, though. Cheese in the air. Like someone's just lobbed a truckle of brie right in front of the goal, and it keeps that ball out.
Daniel got around Cheese. Here comes SSG. Arsenal took out ZPS. That might actually help him. He'll be back into the play right now, and he just got a piece of that to stop LJ.
Arsenal goes solo on this one with Sosa going into the corner. He's only got 17, can't clear it away from LJ. So ZPS gets involved with Sosa on no boost low. Cheese only has 14, but that may be all he needs. Daniel saves it away that time. The right side is going to see Daniel pushing, and instead it leaves that boost. Just goes to the fake, and they can pick up the 100. LJ in the center. Sosa and Cheese both committing together. Daniel just going high with it, knows that they're low on boost, but Cheese, he packs 80 in his tank. Arsenal high, Daniel not ready for it. Instead, ZPS is there with an incredible pre-jump, I believe. She's now going to that left side. The LJ going middle with it again, not wanting to play for the wings or SSG. Instead, going to the middle, then you can go on the backboard, get those air dribble bumps, go for the flip reset. A little bit easier. Delaying the pass, and Cheese again, this time saving it miraculously.
Experience is going to be paramount here, especially for SSG. They've won as many overtimes as Knights have played. As Cheese will force one through, but then he has to retreat for a moment, and that little reprieve gave Arsenal possession. LJ will have that out, needs a second touch. He's got it, but he doesn't really spring anybody downfield as Cheese intercepts. A lot of disjointed attack here around midfield. Somebody's got to take charge, and it's the worst case scenario for Knights if it was that guy, Daniel.
How does Dan keep control of that? He sees it in the air and he manages the recoil of the ball so perfectly, then air dribbles and then flip resets. That was a proper Rocket League enthusiast dream touch. Daniel this time going for the long shot. Arsenal probably faking, absolutely he was, but Sosa, he read that from day dot.
LJ will cut this off and still stay with it. What a catch. Arsenal and Sosa tangle up. Uh-oh, ZPS in no man's land. Daniel for the win! And it's kept out by Cheese. Somehow, Arsenal tried to put it home at the end, and Cheese just barely saved the Knights again.
I think Daniel, he just kept the safety on. Didn't want to go too crazy with it. Of course, was running a little bit low on boost as well, but he just has to send it. Instead, played it a little bit too safe. 4 minutes into this Game 4 overtime. We're going to be seeing the third goal come in for either team anytime soon.
Oh, Arsenal trying to put the moves on ZPS.
Ooh.
That didn't work out. No midfield boost available, so LJ has to run this all the way back to Daniel. Decent idea. And SSG going to play for possession. LJ gets credit for the easiest save of his life. That was barely a shot. And now Daniel, oh boy, he was giving Cheese a lot to think about and finally tracks him down. And now there's nobody to challenge Daniel. ZPS at least altered the shot. Oh! And it's still just a little wide from LJ at the end, but they are not out of the woods just yet, Stumpy. This continues to be a trouble for SSG. The bump from LJ inconsequential for now as Daniel gets nudged away by Sosa finally.
And the fakes are coming into play time and time again. Passing down to Daniel, shooting wide. Tell you what, they're just farming these shots because they've not been great. I'm going to be honest. They've been shooting wide. They've had opportunities, but the defense from PK is holding as firm as it can do when you're staring down a barrage of shots that SSG are putting forward.
28 shots, make it 29 shots between these two teams now in a 10-plus minute game. It has not been for lack of effort that this game still remains tied. Arsenal takes it himself with LJ running through the net and Spacestation get it in 4.
Taking a cheeky detour, gets rid of ZPS on that back wall and can then just land it and tap it in. Spacestation Gaming goes through to the semi-finals to face off versus FaZe. They are still playing for seeding. All of the teams that are on our top 4 right now are going to the major. That's incredibly exciting. All of them playing against each other, trying to usurp for each point that they are able to get. What a series from, and I know we've focused on Daniel a lot in that, from LJ and Arsenal as well.
Yes.
Because the way they played enabled Daniel perfectly.
There's a reason we talk about Daniel. You see that number? That is just a goofy number right underneath Daniel. Over 900. I mean, I get it. You had 10 minutes to work with. But my gosh. What and it's almost like the format throughout the whole split is designed to get the best teams to the major.
Incredible.
Who knew? Here we are with, yes, 4 teams, Rotterdam bound into the top 4 in the Invitational on Championship Sunday. It all works out, but what a performance from SSG. I mean, from Daniel especially. Again, we could talk about him all day. Was it 4, 6, 7 goals, a few assists? LJ has had, again, just a breakout performance, I think, in this fall invitational. No surprise to see this SSG squad into the top 4. And I'm sure the desk will have plenty to talk about. So why don't we get our ugly mugs off the screen and send it over to them.